Oh, okay, live again. Well, looks like today, one, we're going to be cut short because something unexpected came up, and I don't have the time that I usually do when I do the live broadcast. So I may have to cut out early, and I have something I have to do. And also with the live broadcast, I have found out a lot of things, um, and things are changing on a daily basis. But I believe if I just make a commentary video, that it would be better, a little bit shorter. How you doing, Sean? Uh, and I can arrange it at the right time because I have seen some changes, and also I have some updates on what has happened here in the state of North Carolina. Also, I believe if you go on YouTube and that, there are a ton of videos uh, that are talking about what happened in his state. I spent a good chunk of the morning, much like Joel. The whole world seems to have gone insane. Yeah. Uh, and the situation here in North Carolina isn't good. And also, yesterday afternoon, I had to stop out, run some errands, and I ran into two people that ventured, actually took supplies to the western part of the state. One individual was a young woman who went up to check on her parents, and she left with two SUVs loaded with local donations for her parents and the people that live in the area. And she specifically traveled to see them with, I forget, one fellow that's retired went with her, and another woman in another vehicle uh, went up there and dropped off water and everything. And that's the individual that told me that her parents wouldn't leave their home because of fear of looters. And I will get into that later. Another individual was somewhat quite of a colorful character, a local Vietnam veteran, and he belongs to an American Legion post in High Point. And he's 70 years old or something, wily old guy. And him and a group of other veterans, they took a bunch of donations at this other post. And I mean, it was a lot, to where they filled up a couple trailers. I mean, there was a whole room full of water, supplies, and things that they took. And his description of what uh, the situation there was pretty shocking. And he says, I was in a war zone in Vietnam, and he goes, what I seen there, he goes, shocked me. He goes, I have not seen devastation, destruction, and the death. Uh, he goes, and I was in a war zone, and he gave me some pretty frightening details of what went on there. But yeah, if you go on YouTube, there are plenty of videos that show you uh, the damage to some degree. Different people have made videos trekking on foot around the damage to find their friends. One guy walked 3 hours to try to locate his friends he lost communication with. Um, and there were several others. And there's a lot of issues that have come up. The Vietnam vet, he told me on the way in that they stopped just in front of Asheville somewhere, figure out where would be the best place to deliver this, um, to see that it gets to people. And they run across somebody from another veterans post, and these individuals are from a more local place, something closer by. And he goes, they said, well, we'll do this. Why don't you give us your supplies and we'll distribute them. You can head back home. And he goes, we're going to distribute them to veterans first. The guy goes, what do you mean by that? He goes, we didn't gather these supplies to be given out to veterans first. He goes, these are going to the people in the area affected, and it's going to anyone who is there. He goes, what do you mean by veterans? And he goes, how are you going to tell who's a veteran? You know, you're talking about people who are digging out of the mud that lost their home and everything, you know. He goes, how are you going to decide this? So he got all worked up. And they went somewhere and they found a church. Looters posing as rescue workers. Okay, that could be. You did mention something. Republican Liz Cheney backing Kamala Harris. And I don't know what you mean by whole world's gone insane. That could have been. You know, I don't know. And that's another thing. When I asked the young woman that she did get to her family and did get some stuff up to these people in an area there, I asked her, was there looting? You know, because of a remark we had about the ammunition being bought. Is there looting? And here again, I'm noticing this, and I got to make a video, my thoughts on this. Everyone looks with this fear in their eye, like they're afraid to say anything because there's going to be some sort of backlash upon them. Okay. And she looked at me and kind of said, yes, there is. And I said, well, who the hell would be running around looting homes and people in this? What type of people are doing this? And I didn't want to push her anymore because it was quite obvious that she was deeply upset and she's more or less in shock. Okay, from what she's seen traveling. Tells the truth is getting who's honest. Okay, but the young woman was in shock. The other guy, well, he's already talking about making another trip. And basically, what they do is if you don't bring anything, they said, you know, some of you guys just bring us some money. And he goes, we'll just take it and buy stuff at the grocery stores or whatever until we fill the trailer up again, is what they did. Because at this establishment, there was a very large bucket there for days, and we were all throwing money into it for them to buy these supplies, which they did. They're, you know. And also, we were warned. This one guy said, "Do not send money to FEMA. Do not send money to the Red Cross." He goes, basically, churches or organizations like that are probably your best bet. And that's where they were distributing this stuff too, is to different churches, because a lot of these people, uh, there was a report that they finally reached some spot up there and they found that 200 people were gathered at this church and they've been there for 6 days, didn't have no food or water, and they found them. There was a video on that. They found these people and did get some supplies to them and help them out. So this is a far worse crisis. And another thing, they're not telling you the truth on the number of people dead. Okay, I mean it's a bad subject. Nobody likes to talk about it, but the number uh, that have died is much greater than what they're saying. Okay, right now the number has gone up to 200. And how they're keeping track of this is there's a woman on Facebook that allows everyone to post a missing family member, relative, or whatever, or someone they've lost contact with. And at the time, it's been like 2,500, close to a number like that of people that initially were missing. And he said 35 to 40% uh, have been contacted, found, and are, well or alive. And but the guy said that leaves like about 1,500, and the ones that are known to be deceased, the number has grown to 200. It was updated yesterday or today in the state. Uh, okay, we see Joe made it today. FEMA shifted 1 billion in funds from for illegal. All right, like SM Lee here said, yeah, that's something. 1 billion in funds for illegals, and everyone there gets $750. I don't know, they're gonna mail them a check or what? Uh, this ain't a good thing, and there's things that they're covering up. I mean, nobody. Charlotte, North Carolina has sent several news crews in there to film and talk to people, and basically they're downplaying the number of those deceased. They're not bringing up the fact that there are some extremely huge problems with what's going on, and what it is it's like the Marine told me, uh, there are deceased people all over the place. Their corpses are there in trees, in the mud, whatever, and it's creating. And I said, this is going to create a health issue. The mud, the debris, and of course, people. But there's got to be animals. People lost their horses, livestock. God knows what is in the debris that's decaying. And this is what's going to start bringing disease on a level. And they said that a lot of hornets and yellow jackets have been disturbed from the buildings, trees all being taken down. And now this is a problem. The insects are flying around and they're attacking people, being stung, and also the rescue workers. There's a lot of problems. Also, I was told that for days nobody's seen anyone from the government. It was just the local people trying to help, and it's the local people. They're trying to clear passages in the roads or some way for people to get out of more remote areas to where there's aid stations and supplies and that. Um, One guy, well, he came down from Tennessee down into North Carolina. He said that he's seen nobody wearing like a FEMA or something windbreaker or van or vehicle. Uh, the veteran said he didn't see hardly any military vehicles or where's the National Guard? That's what he said. Where's the National Guard? And like somebody said in a chat yesterday, all the ammunition is gone because he said when we went to one place, he said there are people on the roofs with guns guarding towns, villages, whatever, um, themselves. He goes, a few police, ran into the police, explained to them what they were doing, and they let them go forward. And he goes, the police are armed. They were armed. Okay, it's an apocalyptic scene out there. Okay, uh, and yeah, people have said don't send your money because I was at a gas pump or something, or no, I was at an ATM. I had to get a few dollars out for myself, and it says there donate to the Red Cross and all this other stuff. And a lot of people said do it with local groups or churches or drop, like we dropped off a donation of water and all kinds of foodstuffs and that to a church, to a local church. It's probably your best bet is to do that. And like everyone's saying, nobody knows who's out there. Some people went out there, and these people had said they're with the government, but wouldn't say what agency or who they were or anything like that. Local law enforcement, and one guy's getting pretty negative view because he threatened to arrest some fella that just flew in with a chopper on his own and was picking people up and dropping off food and medicine. And he told him because he didn't know who he was or nothing, he wasn't authorized. And again, somebody saying that their FEMA uh, is confiscating supplies and things, saying that they must be approved before they can be distributed. And there was one guy's video or posting about it, saying, they're bringing cases of bottled water. I forget, like instant food, packaged food. How can you say it isn't approved? He goes, what's the meaning behind this? A lot of confusion, a lot of bad things going on. Black Mountain couple. Yeah, I mean it's like you're saying. There's a lot of these stories. It's kind of terrible. I myself have feelings about it that our government's in the wrong on how they're dealing with this. Okay, that's mine, and I'm not afraid to say it. I see the fear in people's eyes when they try to express, what the truth is, which is kind of being covered up. And in the news, people are not doing it. Now, on the other hand, if we go into some strange areas of conspiracy theorists and that, they start saying some pretty bizarre stuff. And it all revolves around the government, like in Katrina, uh, confiscating the land, that there's deposits of lithium and quartz up there, which it could be, but confiscating the land and bulldozing and taking over. And then somebody was complaining that clearing the debris, there are human remains in it, and they're not caring, they're just pushing it down other than and taking them out. Uh, that could be an observation. That is a problem. But then again, is it just necessary to where it can't be dealt with properly? See, it may be a bit of an exaggeration about the situation, but yeah, probably there is human remains in a lot of this debris that has to be cleared out of there and cleared out of there now. Um, they're talking that the highways will not be repaired or uh, passable until sometime September next year or something, about a year from now, both 26 and I-40. Uh, they're looking, that's their estimates at this time, that these main highways are not going to be uh, accessible or repaired until then. But I believe they're trying to get something Starlink or something. Elon Musk is going to make sure that people have internet communications. Now, after all of this fun crap, I did mention the other day that you don't see any political things in any of the yards in my development other than mine. Trump sign out on my yard. And that was another thing. And some people on these chats did post and say that they were nervous that there would be vandalism if they had the signs posted, and they were afraid that their children would be harassed in school, which to me sounds like a fascist state. Sounds like Nazi Germany. Okay, to be harassed for placing a political sign in your yard. Now we all see extremely large amounts of videos showing people trying to take Trump signs and people doing things like tying them down with wire or something, and people actually just lighting them on fire, people becoming belligerent and attacking people just out asking questions, who are you voting for? The one thing, now, I don't know, it's up to you. The one thing I don't see is people tearing down Harris signs or setting them ablaze. Another thing I've seen where people have went in wearing a Trump T-shirt or hat, and we're told in a restaurant that you're not being served while wearing that hat, which I guess, according to the law, they are in the right to say that they're wearing something offensive and they don't have to serve them. Okay. I've never seen anyone removed or refused to be served for wearing a Biden or Harris hat, shirt, or anything like that. So this is something that comes to me as a bit of a one-sided affair. And like I said, people do fear retribution for expressing their political thing. But today, after running some errands in the morning, on the way back through my development, I noticed 1, 2, 3 Trump signs weren't there the day before. And one guy had a pretty large one, Trump Vance in his yard. Then another neighbor had a sign similar to mine. And I seen the third one yet down the road. So I guess whatever has triggered it, or there was on the road going into town in an empty lot, there constantly was somebody set up selling political things, be it yard signs or T-shirts or whatever. Was there for a while, then they disappeared, and I haven't seen any around where some of the other stores are, like the Tractor Supply. When they're selling steaks or something, they let them park there, and usually that's where these people get permission to park in the parking lot of a business. I haven't seen them around, and why I don't know. Must be they weren't selling nothing. But that's kind of changing. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I know somebody said, looking at videos and that the whole world's gone mad. this morning, and I'm going to try to do this. Massive strike on Iran, prepping lessons. Okay. Mostly, of course, that's what I've been looking at. Most of it, there's some Israel expands evacuation. Hezbollah. Oh, the SpaceX people, or SpaceX got the 2 astronauts down, which I remember there was something about that. And I'm looking here. Volunteer pilot exposes Fed's disgraceful response. Yeah, now that they've had time, there's a lot of videos. Then in Florida, for all us gun owners, there's a police chief that suspended Second Amendment rights in Florida because of the hurricane damage and in a state of emergency. The only good thing is this other hurricane that's coming appears that it's going to stay in the center of the Atlantic Ocean. What's the sound? Tractor Supply is a woke company. I only buy food for my pets there. It's about the only thing I do. Really never done a lot of business with them. But if you say so, I guess. Yeah, sorry. So Tractor Supply is woke. Yes, about the live broadcast. My personal schedule is totally insane. So keep up with my countdown. I don't know. Like today, I'm gonna have to cut this short time, and tomorrow I'm probably gonna skip a day tomorrow because there's things going on. I will be on at 10 o'clock in the morning, like every Sunday. That I'm going to keep doing for now because there is an audience there, and keep it consistent. The daily countdown. I may be trying to help pick up donations or go gather them for people, so I may get involved with that because some people have asked. So my schedule is up and down. Plus, I'm trying to keep making content for the channel. So this daily thing, probably today, this broadcast here, this live one will be the last one. And I may just put up a daily video with some opinions and updates as to a lot of the topics that we've talked about, and anything, make a comment about anything interesting, be it towards the elections or actually this crisis here in North Carolina is going to be something we're keeping track of, keeping an eye on. Because, like I told the guy, what you're telling me with corpses, debris, and the fact they're really not getting any help or anything from the government, it's basically the people in there doing this themselves for what limited resources they have. you know, there's going to be a health crisis. I mean, that's where you get disease and stuff when you have uh, remains of people or animals lying about and all this mud and debris, insects and God knows what. Then if it rains again or another storm comes, what's going to happen then? Okay. Also, the political fallout of this, a lot of people are very, very unhappy, and they're not afraid to say it. They will say it, that the fact that the government didn't react, the government really isn't doing nothing, and for them to say they don't have the money to do this because they're using the money for other purposes is not a good thing. It's not good politically, and it's kind of like, can they get any stupider or make things any worse? Uh, you know, and I'm nervous that whatever is going on with the government, okay, this is something I kind of come to a conclusion. Whoever's running it or what they're doing or what they have planned is not good for us. And I don't really believe that if Trump does win the election, I don't believe he can stop what the system or whoever is controlling things. I don't believe being elected president, he may do something to throw him off balance or change something, but seeing what's going on, you know, where they don't have money for disaster relief and there's no response to this uh, problem, and it's just not uh, North Carolina. I mean, there's areas of Tennessee, there's areas of Georgia, and there's areas of Florida. Okay, they're in bad shape. Okay, I think the geography and terrain of North Carolina, Tennessee, uh, is making it worse than the other places. Undecided voters. What do you see? Well, if they're undecided, I think their opinions are shifting. Okay, because the federal government failing to help out in a disaster has nothing to do with a presidential candidate. Okay, who's better or not? They're doing this. This isn't good. This country is in uh, bad shape as far as I'm concerned with all of this. And like I said, the one thing that scares me is when you see people that when you ask them something, they hesitate to, voice their opinion. And then there was another video where this one politician said, hey, you got all these people saying this and that on social media and uncontrolled, unrestricted freedom of speech, which really screws up the way democracy is. In a democracy is one thing. But when you got people with the First Amendment, he said, they don't like the Second Amendment. Now, this First Amendment's being a pain in the ass, that people, have the right to say what's on their mind, even when they're saying, gee, you're lying and you're cheating and you're screwing us out of money, you're destroying the economy, and the way you're running the country is wrong. Well, politicians don't like it. And like he said, I wish there was a way we could hammer this out and clear this out so we don't run into this, which stalls our said version of democracy. So things are royally screwed up in this country, and this disaster, this hurricane, just points it out more. Um, as for what people or how they vote or how they think, again, that's their choice. whether they do vote. I know there's a lot of people that won't be voting, okay, because there is nowhere to go vote and they have no home and they're probably going to be worrying more about other things um, than that. But, you know, it's not good. And I'm not even getting into the wars or what the hell is going on. You don't hear much about the Ukraine. It's all going in because it is quite active and it is quite dangerous the way this is going in the Middle East. Okay. And I don't believe the truth is being told there. And there's some very strange things going on and how our current administration is somehow tangled up in all of this. It makes no sense. Uh, so I don't know. Okay, it's getting difficult, and then again, is any of the stuff, the disaster stuff, you can't fake the footage there. Okay, but um, you only can listen to the opinions of people who have went to the region and came back. Scott Ritter seems knowledgeable. Yes, because Scott Ritter, I guess, was an analyst for the CIA or something, and it's kind of common sense. All right, going on with Russia. All right, look, I don't know if any of you have any comprehension of the size of Russia. All right, number one, it's the size. The Ukraine was always like a little state or satellite of Russia. Okay, most of the people in the eastern side of Ukraine are Russian. When I was there, they spoke Russian. Everything was in Russian. Okay, yeah, in the West, it was a little bit different. The country, again, another country polarized. In another country, you have to look historically how the borders shifted for the past 500 years, not just in the 20th century or whatever. That alone shows you how the borders shifted. You know, sections of the Western Ukraine were part of Poland for a time. Now they're not. All this other stuff, blah blah blah. Uh, a lot of anger, a lot of hatred. You know, and a lot of confusion. All right, and for the Ukrainian military to say they're going to take on the Russian military or defeat the Russians or however they did this, going in 30 kilometers then stopping. I mean, modern warfare isn't fought like that. It's all some sort of a game, and unfortunately, it's a game that's dragging on and they're screwing around, and it's just someone that lives there stated what they're doing is they're just trying to kill off the people in the region. Okay, it's the regular people. It's not the political leaders that are going to suffer. It's not the people who run things with the military and the government and the politicians, local politicians. It's not those people. Okay, it's just the average person. Okay, and all this money we're funneling into this country somehow is being twisted around and sent back to certain individuals in this country. Okay, it's some sort of a scheme. Okay, and it's not a good one. Uh, Israel, without the support of the United States and other places, Israel cannot exist. I know some people come on here and were telling me, well, Arab armies are inefficient and can't. That's not true. there's been a couple of these little wars where they came pretty close to putting a hurt on Israel, and they came pretty close to toppling them. And it wasn't until we stepped in and stopped them. So, Scott Ritter's pretty much right. A lot of it depends on what the whoever is running this country or has the power here decides to do. Okay, if we pull out all our support of Israel, Israel will fail. Okay, it's just it. Um, it looks like we are going to pull out our support from the Ukraine, which we should do. And there was another army general that said the same thing. We should just stop this and stop it now. Okay, and tell Zelensky to negotiate at least the ceasefire in the Ukraine and stop this shit. Okay, because it serves no good purpose for the average person. Somehow, all of this, things don't happen unless somebody benefits from it. The wars, the nonsense, this. Okay, this does not happen. Okay, it's just a thing I have. Be it good, be it bad. Nothing happens that's connected to the United States unless somebody is making money. Bottom line. If they're not making money, it don't exist. It don't happen. It's gone. Okay. That's how it goes. 60 billion sent to the Ukraine. 4 more years with the borders are. I honestly, if the elections are fair, I don't see how the hell they can win. Truthfully, I mean, everyone keeps saying that and this and that and that, and yes, for certain individuals, Trump can't win because these people are going to be out. Okay, some very powerful people are going to have issues, but honestly, I don't see how he can win. Okay, there's way too many people getting out there. There's way too many people being vocal, and even these weird little spineless liberal people that I have around me are getting nervous because just defunding the police. These are things, the lawlessness, this. I have no idea if any of the things they say going on in New York City are true. The rioting, the looting in stores, subways. I have no idea if any of that's true. I see videos and photographs. There's one guy down there talking about it. But I don't know how you can survive with if any of that. If a quarter of that is true, I don't know how anyone can live in that city or survive there. Going to be a rough ride either way. You're right. I mean, because things are not good one way or the other. Well, that's my thing. I'm not going to go on any longer. I mean, it's not good, and actually, it's kind of upsetting. Like I said, I'm going to try to get out and do more to help uh, go pick up relief supplies or help them load them up in the vehicles when I get a chance. And so I'm probably going to stop doing the daily lives. I'll make a video and post it counting down. I'm going to keep the countdown going. I'm probably going to skip tomorrow because I do have to do other things other than make videos or content for YouTube, and I, unfortunately, I just don't have the time. And actually, nothing I'm carrying on about is sounding good for anybody. But we should be aware. Like yesterday's thing, we talked about it. You should have cash. I have to make one for my other channel about the money that person's opinion. You're holding gold, silver, whatever, as an investment. But in the crisis, it's all cash because there's no electricity, so you can't transmit your cards. Uh, you have to have cash to buy gas if you can get to it. Somebody had a video that showed this gas station somewhere out there by Asheville on the highway or on a road. There had to be 100 cars waiting for gasoline. Now what do you think is going to happen? You have in both directions in the center median 100 vehicles. Uh, do you really think they got that much gasoline there? I don't know. So yeah, cash, and like he said, your silver and gold is worthless in this situation. He goes, the banks won't take it, people won't take it. Flashing it could get you killed. Okay, and even if you are prepped, and even if you are ready with all the supplies you need, be it guns, ammo, food, and that when I seen some of the things this woman caught the mudslide coming down, and luckily it didn't quite hit her house. It went between, it crushed. It took their car and put it on top of a building. It folded over like a cardboard box. And actually, the mudslide did kind of tear the side of their house uh, apart, but didn't move the house down the hill. Okay, you can't prepare for that. There's no amount of money or anything. When some wall of mud hits you. So yeah, it's treacherous times, and then who knows what reaction you're going to get or how worse it can be. Okay, who knows if however the elections come out, there won't be some sort of violent outburst of somebody somewhere. Could be rioting, looting. Then if the whole country starts to go off the kilter there, and it could be some dangerous times coming up. This is the time, you don't isolate yourself. This is where you got to stand with a group of people. The only way to defend yourself is to have people in agreement, stand together, and not put up with this, which try doing that. All right, guys. So, no live tomorrow. Live Sunday will go on. I can use the other software by then, and so we can see in the video the statements and whatever you guys or whatever the people there want to talk about. We can have questions and answers. People did like it when Rodney was there. I might send them fellows an email today and see if I can get the Gun Geek and Rod back. So we'll have some guests, which a lot of people like that. It kind of breaks up the just sitting here looking at me carry on about shit. Does make a little bit more interesting viewing. But yeah, and after Sunday, I will just try to get up a video, and it'll be kind of short. Try to keep it 15 minutes or so and discuss some things, what's going on. Also, leave a comment if there's something you wish to talk about. Leave a comment, and I'll try to get some information or something a little bit different. But I'm going to have to end this one early today, guys. Unexpected things came up. So that's the update for it all and everything. And as usual, thank you, fellas, for showing up, putting in your input, and just staying in touch. All right. Thanks.